Hey, Jarek here, and this is a Flywheeler with a moving bolt. Now, I have a few websites I look at when I want to find some gimmicky, unique, usually Chinese-made dart blasters. However, in this case, it was just randomly recommended to me on Amazon, and I hadn't seen it before, although I did recognize the company that made it. This is effectively an upgraded version of this, although both of these serve a different function. Kind of. This is a clone of the Woozy, although it is cheaper and doesn't use Talon mags, so it's definitely not quite as high quality, but it won't be quite as expensive. It also is very picky with darts. It basically can only use the darts it comes with, and this one is no exception. It's the same way. And that shouldn't really be a surprise. Like, internally these things are very similar. They're both two-stage flywheelers. The only real difference is that the flywheels are horizontal, whereas they are vertical on this one. This one also has a more traditional rev trigger, whereas this one has the all-in-one trigger, although you can rev the trigger if you really want to by pulling it a little bit. Pull it a little bit more and you'll actually start using the pusher. So thankfully it's not one of those Chinese weapons where the moment you pull the trigger it just starts shooting. You can at least rev up the flywheels, but there's no rev trigger. Aside from that, this thing is not really anything special. If you've seen a Chinese-made flywheeler that is a clone of the Woozy before, then you've basically seen this thing with the exception of this moving bolt. And this was the main reason I wanted to buy this. It's actually very simple. It's just the entire pusher is the bolt. It's just a big piece of plastic that moves with the pusher. This is really simple. I actually wish a lot of other blasters did this because that's really cool. Yeah, it doesn't really serve any actual function, but it's neat. I like it. It does have the downside of lowering your rate of fire, but in the case of this, if you actually want to take it to games, maybe that's a good thing. While this thing is awesome for having a high rate of fire, you also dump your mag pretty much immediately, whereas the rate of fire in this one is a bit more acceptable. So really that depends on what you want. This thing also comes with like a million things out of the box, like a lot of these do. It comes with 2 different red dots, a side rail that you could put on this even though it already has rails. I don't know why it comes with 2 red dots. It has like a muzzle flash hider thing. I'm not going to bother taking any of it out because you've seen that before. None of them are really functional. They just have a light that turns on the plastic fake red dot. This one, interestingly enough, also came with iron sights, and I actually really like these. They remind me a lot of when video games make the rear aperture huge because a flat screen doesn't translate to iron sights like you would in real life. But in the case of dart blasters, you're only going to be shooting at them from like 50 feet max, so being able to see your target quickly and to get these sights up quickly is a really good thing. Like, that thing is huge, and it's super easy to see the sights. And I quite like it. And with the sights being white, I think it actually sort of completes the look. Like I said, I bought this on Amazon for $60, which seems a little bit cheap for what this is, but it comes with 3 different magazines, which I actually didn't know when I bought it. So yeah, that's a lot of mags and a pretty decent gun for 60 bucks. The main downside though is that the magazines are proprietary. They can't use Talon mags or anything else. You're stuck with these mags. And just like the Woozy clone, it's very picky on darts. You pretty much need to use the darts this comes with. Worker Gen 3s and Adventure Force Pros are going to jam this thing up pretty much right away. Bamboo darts won't jam it up, but they also won't shoot accurately. They just kind of shoot in random directions. So again, you have to use the darts this comes with. Thankfully, I have quite a few of those since I have multiple of these guns now. The other thing is that you would assume, since these 2 things are basically clones and that these 2 magazines are literally the same, they are identical, you'd think that they would be compatible with each other. But they're not, because this has a different mag catch than the Uzi. The magazine release and mag catch just this button on the back, and it is a free-falling mag, so you can reload that way if you really want to. However, this one, for the Woozy clone, does not lock in. It goes in fine. If you hold it in place, it will actually feed perfectly fine, but nothing locks it in. The reason for that is because there are new cuts in the front of this that the old mags don't have, so that's kind of lame, but thankfully you get 3 of these, so it kind of almost makes up for it. Yeah, it's kind of a big downside. That and the fact that you have to use the darts this comes with, whew, that one hurts this quite a bit. If it wasn't for those two things, I would say this is actually a really good gun to take to games if you have to have like a very strict like 100 FPS limit. When I chronoed this, it chronoed pretty consistently at 90 FPS, which actually isn't that bad for what this is. Yeah, it's not going to be as good as a hobbyist 3D printed dart blaster, but for a $60 Chinese clone, basically, that's pretty decent. The actual build quality of this is all plastic, although it does feel pretty solid, including this big bolt that's moving back and forth. I shot this quite a bit, and I really don't have any worries of it breaking. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you've seen a Flywheeler, you understand how this works, just with a big moving bolt on it. The battery this comes with goes in the front right here. You have to unscrew a screw in the front here, and I rant about this about every single time. I hate it when I have to unscrew things to get to my battery compartment. Just make everything toolless. Just let me be able to get into my battery compartment easily. It's kind of important, and it just saves time. It's just annoying needing to unscrew a screw to get to my battery. But yeah, at least the battery compartment is pretty spacious. The battery this comes with is actually different than the one that comes with the Woozy clone, if I can get it out. It's pretty much the same that comes with the V6, the high rate of fire one. It's a 7.4 volt LiPo. It's a little bigger than the ones you usually get, just because this needs more milliamps to actually power this bolt. But yeah, the battery compartment has quite a bit of space in here. I really wouldn't worry about fitting the battery in there. It'll fit perfectly fine. And yeah, it comes with one of those typical USB chargers for the LiPo battery. So yeah, if you've used a Flywheeler, you basically know how this works, except for with the gimmick of a moving bolt, which, again, that's just really cool. That was literally the reason I bought this, and I wish more Flywheelers would do this. But that's about it. I really don't have anything more to say. Let's just shoot it.